Hello everyone and welcome to TechFixFlix. In this tutorial we will install Ubuntu, a variant of Linux, on Windows 10 using VirtualBox. Why would you want to do this? Mostly to experience a different user interface from Windows, albeit one which is immediately familiar to Windows users. Ubuntu is free, which makes it an ideal platform for experimenting with VirtualBox, and its similarities with Windows make it a gentle introduction to the Linux environment. This tutorial assumes that you have already installed VirtualBox. In the event that you haven't and require assistance setting up this free software, please see our supporting tutorial, Install Oracle VM VirtualBox, before following this video. Having installed VirtualBox, we now need to obtain a copy of Ubuntu in the form of an ISO file, which we will download from ubuntu.com using the link on screen now and also in the written description accompanying this video. From the Ubuntu homepage, we select the download link. At the downloads page, we look to download a desktop variant. At the time of the production of this video, a choice is offered between 18.04 LTS and 18.10. We click on the link to the latter. At just under 2 GB, the Ubuntu download is moderately sized, although should be downloaded without concern on all but the slowest of connections. Once downloaded, we click the upward pointing arrow in Google Chrome, which inverts, prompting the appearance of a menu from which we choose the option to show in folder. This opens our Downloads folder, where our ISO file is located. We will load this file as a virtual disk shortly. Before that, we need to create a virtual machine upon which to run the software. We therefore run VirtualBox, here as a recently added item from the Start menu, but also found alphabetically under O for Oracle, or indeed by launching the Start menu and typing Oracle. We select New from the main window. Alternatively, we click Machine on the upper toolbar and select New, or indeed use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl-N. The Create Virtual Machine dialog appears, from which we will enter the hardware details for our virtual machine. The machine name is entirely arbitrary, and we simply use the name Ubuntu. We could change the destination folder for the virtual machine, but we simply accept the default. Helpfully, our descriptive name provides VirtualBox with sufficient context to automatically change the type and version fields to appropriate values. Had we used a less obvious machine name, we would have needed to manually set the type to Linux and the version to Ubuntu 64. Now we set the memory size or RAM for the virtual machine. The default is set at 1 GB, and this significantly hampered the performance of the virtual machine. We therefore increase this to 4 GB using the sliders or by typing in the value. The physical memory of our 64 GB host allows us to do this easily, but we're always mindful when running on less powerful systems to allow sufficient memory for the host system to perform effectively. Having configured the system memory, we now do likewise for the system storage. Again, we will be allocating storage to the virtual machine by using a portion of the hard drive space on our main machine. We can opt not to add a virtual disk, although that option isn't suitable for this project, and we can load an existing hard disk file should we have one saved. However, it's our intention to install to a blank hard drive, so we select the option to create a virtual hard disk now. With the default selected, we click Create. The hard disk file type can be selected from one of 3 options. We will use the default, although note that the other 2 options can be selected for compatibility with other types of virtualization software. Again, with the default selected, we click Next to advance. We can now choose between a dynamically allocated and fixed hard drive size. We opt for the default, dynamically allocated, as the file size increases as the drive is filled, rather than being automatically set to the maximum, and therefore occupying the maximum amount of real storage space from the outset. Now we select the file location and size of our hard drive file. For convenience, we accept both the default location and name for the hard drive file, although we could change both by clicking on the directory icon and using the dialog box which appears. Having accepted the defaults, we click Create. With that, our virtual machine is created. We now need to load our Ubuntu disk image into the virtual drive. We therefore select the settings options for the virtual machine, before selecting the storage option from the settings dialog. By default, the optical drive is empty. We select it, then we click on the disk icon revealing a drop-down menu, from which we select the option to choose Virtual Optical Disk File. In the box which opens, we need to navigate to the location of our ISO file which we downloaded at the beginning of this tutorial. We therefore navigate to our Downloads folder and open the Ubuntu 18.10 disk image. The image now appears as a virtual disk loaded into our virtual machine. We close the settings window and click to run the virtual machine. The virtual machine now runs. In doing so, it detects the Ubuntu installation disk. The screen may be momentarily blank, after which the loading of Ubuntu will be apparent. We are greeted with the Ubuntu wallpaper and the installer screen will display. From here we can configure language settings before proceeding to install Ubuntu. Keyboard layouts default to US English, which we modify to reflect our localization here in the UK. We accept the defaults for both normal installation as opposed to minimal installation and to download updates while installing Ubuntu. We further tick the option to install third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi hardware and additional media formats, with a view to offering our virtual machine the widest possible compatibility. We click Continue to proceed. With our blank slate virtual hard drive, we have a number of options for the installation type. As this is a purely experimental installation, we simply accept the default and click Install Now. The installer seeks confirmation of our instructions and we simply click Continue to advance. We are now presented with a world map and can simply type to select our geographical location. We type London and note the vast array of possibilities that this produces. We select our preference. With our location determined, we click Continue to progress. We are now required to supply some information and create a password. We enter our name, our computer's name and a username. The process is guided and ticks indicate the suitability of our choices. As we type our chosen password, the installer gauges our password strength, evolving from short to good to strong. As per convention, we enter the password a second time to ensure accuracy. We make a further change, moving from password entry to automatic login. This is a personal choice given the restricted nature of access to our machine, and others may wish to retain password entry. Incidentally, should you wish to bypass password access under Windows, our Netplwiz tutorial covers this little used option. With our information confirmed, we click Continue to proceed. We are taken through a series of loading screens which require no input from us. We can take a short break as the installation proceeds. At the conclusion of the installation, we are advised of the need to restart, and therefore we select the option to do so. Ubuntu duly restarts, and we are advised to remove the installation media. We therefore use the close icon to shut the virtual machine and select OK to confirm this action from the dialog box which appears. The machine shows as powered off. We therefore repeat the steps used to insert the virtual disk with a view to ejecting it. We right-click on the virtual machine and select Settings from the menu which appears. In the Settings box, we navigate to Storage. At this point, we were planning on ejecting the disk from the virtual drive, but we found that it was already empty. As the installation media was no longer detected, Ubuntu booted for us without further incident. Had the installation media been present, we would have simply ejected it using the disk menu. We rerun the virtual machine by double-clicking on it, which takes us back to the Ubuntu desktop. We are immediately offered the opportunity to link our online accounts. As we're purely testing, we skip this step at this stage, although this is something we would revisit if we used Ubuntu more frequently. We are invited to send diagnostic data to Canonical, but we choose to decline this option, and having made our choice, click Next to proceed. We are advised that additional software can be downloaded from the software application, which is the Ubuntu equivalent of an app store. We again click Done to advance. As this is our first run proper, there are inevitably updates required for the new installation, and we choose the option to Install Now to ensure that our system is as fully updated as possible. In order to download and apply the updates, we are required to enter the password which we set up during the installation process. We therefore enter it and select Authenticate before allowing the machine to process the updates. Briefly exploring some of the default features available from the desktop, we note that Firefox is the main system browser, files can be readily accessed, LibreOffice Writer is the equivalent to Microsoft Word or Apple's Pages, and the aforementioned software selections allow for expansion upon the range of installed apps. We also make one vital change to the default settings to increase the resolution of the screen, thereby providing us with more space in which to perform our work. We select the downward pointing triangle in the upper right of the screen, then select the Cross Tools icon from the box which appears. This takes us to the Devices menu, which defaults to Screen Display Options. We select Resolution, and a variety of screen resolutions are displayed. We select 1920 by 1200, which will display inside our virtual machine window, and we are returned to the main window. Given the current small size of our display, we actually need to drag this box further left in order to reveal the Apply button. Once we click Apply, we have a more generous space in which to work, and we select the option to keep changes. Had the resolution not been to our liking, we could instead have opted to revert. We can now simply close the Screen Display Settings box. We now have a large blank desktop and many options for exploration. Join us in the final part of this series when we install Android 8.1. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Hopefully you found it useful. If you can provide a better, faster or more economical solution, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. If you'd like more, you are very welcome to subscribe to the TechFixFlix YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button. Subscription is of course entirely free and provides easy access to all of the videos posted here. Clicking on the neighbouring bell icon means you will be notified whenever a new video is posted. You can also keep in touch by following the official TechFixFlix Twitter account. Until your next TechFix, goodbye.